All right, let's dive into something really fascinating today. We're going to unravel the legal DNA of Southeast Asia, a place where history isn't just something you read about, it's actually written right into the laws that govern people's lives today.
So, let me start with a bit of a riddle for you. What on earth could a dusty old British law from the 1800s, an ancient village custom, and a super modern global trade rule possibly have in common?
Well, the wild thing is, in many countries in Southeast Asia, they're all considered the law at the same time, in the same place. It's this incredible jumble where, as the source material puts it, the legal system is made of crisscrossing remnants of previous eras.
And there's actually a name for this whole situation: legal pluralism. Just think of it like this. It's when you have all these different layers of law. You've got ancient customs, colonial rules, national laws, and now even global standards, all stacked on top of each other. It's like a kind of legal archaeology, and you really have to understand it to make sense of the region.
So, let's try to untangle this web a bit, starting with the different layers that make it so complex.
Okay, this really lays it all out. At the very bottom, the bedrock, you have adat, or customary laws. These are the rules that governed village life for centuries. Then, bam, on top of that comes the colonial layer, with laws from the French, British, and Dutch that were, let's be honest, designed to help them. After independence, these new nations started building their own laws, sometimes with socialist ideas mixed in. And now, today, you have what are called legal transplants, new laws brought in by global donors as these economies grow. It's a lot.
But to really get why this tangle exists, we have to rewind the clock and look at the original blueprint, the one drawn up during the colonial era.
And this is where a really key idea comes into play: legal dualism. This was a very deliberate strategy by the colonial powers. They didn't just replace local law. Instead, they created two separate legal systems that ran in parallel, one for them and one for everyone else.
And this chart just lays the divide bare. For the colonizers, it was all business. Law was about commerce, profit, and making transactions smooth for them. But for the local population, their law was pushed to the side, limited to things like family matters and village life. It was a way to keep social order, sure, but it also locked them out of the real economic action.
And yeah, the source material doesn't pull any punches about the motive here. This whole system was set up to promote what it calls an exploitative commercial law. The goal was pretty clear, and it wasn't about justice for everybody. It was about creating an economic engine for the empire.
And get this, the legacy is just mind-boggling. In Myanmar today, the law you use for contracts is still based on a British Act from 1872. The source calls it frozen colonial law, and that's exactly what it is. A piece of the 19th century stuck in the 21st, completely missing modern ideas like consumer protection.
Okay, so fast forward. The colonizers leave. Now what? Well, that's when the real, immense challenge begins. Trying to forge a new national law from all these leftover pieces.
You know, the dream for these brand new nations was to create what's known as sui generis law. That's just a fancy Latin term that means of its own kind. They wanted a legal system that was truly theirs, something that reflected their own people and culture, not just a hand-me-down from a foreign power.
But man, this was anything but easy. It was a long, tough road. I mean, look at the timeline. Independence comes around the middle of the 20th century, but building a new legal foundation takes decades. You have this incredible moment in 1963 where Indonesia's Chief Justice just declares the old Dutch code dead. So bold. But saying it and having a replacement ready are two very different things. It took Vietnam until 1995 to finally get its first unified civil code on the books.
And what's really interesting is that this wasn't just a problem for formerly colonized countries. Take Thailand. It was never formally colonized, but when it came time to build its own modern civil code, they didn't just invent it from scratch. They borrowed, heavily. They basically created a mixtape of laws from Germany, Japan, Switzerland, and France. It just goes to show you what a massive undertaking building a legal system really is.
All right, so that brings us pretty much up to the modern day, and a whole new chapter of foreign influence that really kicks off in the 1990s. After the Cold War, you get this second boom of what's called legal technical assistance. Basically, foreign countries coming in to help Southeast Asian nations update their laws. But here's the thing. Not all help is created equal. Two very, very different ideas emerged on how to do it right.
So on one side, you have what the source calls the demanding donor. This is a top-down approach. They come in with model laws already written, usually focused on business, and often reflecting their own interests. But then there's this other model, the escort runner, which was really pioneered by Japan. The idea here is totally different. You don't hand them a finished law. You run alongside them, you guide them, you help them draft a law that actually fits their country and their goals.
And this wasn't just some nice theory. It actually worked. You can see the results right here. These huge foundational laws, the civil codes for Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, were all developed using this supportive, collaborative approach.
So what does a law that's built this way actually look like? Well, Vietnam's 2015 Civil Code is a perfect case study. It's built on these incredible principles like equality, even making the state an equal party in private disputes, freedom of contract, goodwill, and check out that last one, justice. It flat out says that a court can't just throw out a case because there isn't a perfect law for it. That is a massive step towards a justice system that actually serves the people.
So when you pull it all together, what's the big picture here? What is this whole long, messy, fascinating historical journey really all about?
Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about dusty law books and legal jargon. This is a story about a search for something bigger. It's an ongoing quest to build a legal system that can finally balance the demands of economic growth with real social justice for everyone.
And the source really nails this ambition. The whole point is to build, and I'm quoting here, a new legal regime beyond the greedy capitalist model. It's about moving past that old colonial legacy and creating something new, something better, something that serves the whole nation.
And that really leaves all of us with a question to chew on, doesn't it? In our own complicated, interconnected world with its own layers of history and power, what should a legal system really be built to do? What, and more importantly, who should it be designed to protect? Thanks for tuning in.